India is the place to be because the growth rates in India are in good double-digit regions.
It's a market where the demand will continue to grow significantly, where we see that the manufacturing is growing very similar to what Ron said. China was in similar position 10, 15 years ago.
Welcome to a new episode of our Envision podcast, 5 Questions To. Our topics are image processing, machine and embedded vision, AI and metrology. My name is Peter Ebert, Editor-in-Chief of Envision, and I'm happy to have you here for a new episode. Hello everyone and welcome to our Envision podcast, 5 Questions. Today we have 2 guests. We've got Harshit Sureka, founder and CEO from Robro Systems, and Ron Müller from Vision Markets. And I will talk to both of them about the Indian Machine Vision Association. And my first question to you is, why was the Indian Machine Vision Association founded, and what are the association's goals?
Thank you, Peter. Thank you for having us. The Indian Machine Vision Association was founded to really bridge the gap that we see in the Indian market right now around adoption of machine vision. It is a very scattered market. There are a lot of manufacturers and new manufacturing setups coming in. But because traditionally we have had so much cheap labor, a lot of manufacturers are unaware about what kind of vision systems to adopt and what are the benefits. So this is an initiative to really bring the community together that consists of a lot of system integrators, OEM providers, and also another goal of the association is to give a platform for international companies to operate in India, because we have heard a lot of challenges being faced by international companies in increasing their market in India, because of the lot of cost sensitivity that is there, and the kind of approach that is needed is slightly different. So this is the main reason for founding IMVA and the goals.
Yeah. How many companies are at the association at the moment?
So we are about 26 companies. Out of that, 24 are commercial companies and 2 are academic institutions.
And maybe you just make a small hint at it. Can you tell us something about the Indian machine vision scene? What are the key industries and which companies are currently active on the market?
So maybe Ron can answer that. I think he has a good understanding of that also.
Yeah, sure. So the peculiarity of the Indian vision market is that there are relatively few numbers of component manufacturers on a domestic level. So that means, let's say, most technology and components technically needs to be imported from the typical sources, right? So we have the hotspots here in Europe, in Canada, US, and Japan, where most of the technologies come from. Also China. This is, so to say, the supplier perspective. Then in India we have thousands of partially big system integrators and machine builders who are developing automation systems for the domestic applications and domestic market as well as for export. And this is really a big group of companies already, and we have started to gather the, let's say, most active ones in our community and the Indian Machine Vision Association, which is then very soon expanding also. But on the user level, right, on the customer level, India is known, to say, as the pharmacy of the world, in the sense that a lot of pharmaceuticals are produced in India. So that's a big area. Then obviously also automotive, right? The Tata Group is very active and so producing primarily for domestic, but also for non-domestic customers. And then it's really all sorts across the board of production in terms of steel, heavy industry, railroads. Obviously, construction works a lot going on, and then the whole food industry. But each of these industry, as you can imagine, has different levels of automation and different levels of the use of machine vision, obviously. And what's coming into the game now is, since several years already, is the consumer electronics space, right? So you have Foxconn and Apple moving, or let's say expanding production capacity in India, not the least for the reason of, let's say, reducing their exposure to China, obviously. We have Samsung, LG investing heavily into manufacturing sites in India, again, to simply leverage the relatively low cost of manufacturing, but still a relatively good infrastructure in terms of people, availability of labor, cost of labor, and then also the automation capabilities of the Indian machine vision community.
Thanks, Ron. Just a question. When does it make sense for a European company to become a member or to get in contact with your association?
Well, as a marketing guy, obviously I need to say anytime, anywhere. But
and as a not marketing guy?
As a non-marketing guy, I would say if you have products that are easy to use and that have a good price performance ratio, that's for those type of manufacturers, India is the place to be, because the growth rates in India are in good double digits regions, right, every year, and they have been last year and the years before, and they will be the same this year. So the growth is happening here in India is in relative terms, and also to some extent also in absolute terms, the market which shows the biggest growth in terms of machine vision market revenues. Now, still, obviously, you need to be ready to, let's say, deal with a different cultural environment. You need to deal with a different government, let's say, situation, regulations, legal system. So all of this is, let's say, different in India. You need to know what you're doing. You need to have the right partners. You need to know where to go to, and this is to some extent where the Indian Machine Vision Association can help, for sure. And that's basically generally the precondition, so to say, when a company wants to expand their business and get the footprint early on in India.
Thanks. Harshit, what do you think, and what are your goals for the future?
No, so I think it is a growth time for sure in the Indian machine vision industry. Out of all the people that we have spoken to, of all in our network, the manufacturers, all of them are pushing to adopt new forms of automation. The quality consciousness of the public in general has increased, which is putting significant pressure on manufacturers to increase their products quality. And that's where machine vision is one of the key things that gets implemented to ensure quality. So and also the population now, India is the most populous country, it's overtaken China. So like the industries that Ron mentioned around food and pharma, electronics, they're all getting more stringent norms from the government also, and more demand from the customer. So the overall growth is very promising in the Indian market. So I definitely think we need a lot of solutions and high technology that has been developed in European companies already, that can kind of fit directly into the machine vision, direct applications that can fit into the manufacturing right now. Or in case where high-end custom solutions need to be made, the component manufacturing, like India lacks a lot of component manufacturers in terms of lights, lenses, cameras, and different frame grabbers, etc. So that's something that any company coming into the Indian market can supply, along with dedicated directions on which industry can utilize what kind of solutions. Because that the way the industries operate in India have their own unique ways. So a company entering India needs to also be slightly flexible in terms of tweaking the products that are being offered by them. And definitely the Indian Machine Vision Association can help in a lot of areas in terms of reaching the market, go-to-market strategy, as well as connecting to direct manufacturers and doing trial cases to test out the systems.
In Europe, there's a problem that there is a shortage of machine vision experts, meaning people who can develop new machine vision systems or people who can use machine vision systems. Is it the same in India?
Definitely. In general, machine vision is not something that is being taught anywhere in the academic level. It's a field that only a few selected individuals are operating in, where they get a chance to work directly with even optics or vision. So there's definitely lack of experts on both the sides, like you rightly said. On the adoption side, so the manufacturers themselves have a lack of people who can understand where a machine vision system will add benefit. And once they identify a problem, how to translate that into a machine vision language, how to put out the requirements, and how to analyze a solution that a system integrator will provide. And a lot of my company friends who are in system integrators definitely face challenges in recruitment of vision experts. So the challenge is there from both sides. The association is also looking at that, and that's one of the reasons that we have academic institutions as one of our members, where we are advocating to start some academic programs or certifications where we can associate with these industries and increase the supply of people aware about machine vision, about optics, about the different components that go into building a complex machine vision system.
Yeah, so maybe I can add to that. So this was actually one of the key pain points that we identified when we started in discussions about the Indian Machine Vision Association around a year ago. That we need to educate engineers to how to use and how to build machine vision systems, right? So actually, what the IMVA is inviting players to is sharing their resources about tutorials on optics, tutorials on illumination, on selection of cameras, on all sorts of aspects on how to build a vision system. Those resources we would be great. We would love to sort of say be made aware of, and we would love to share these resources among our community. Companies as well as the engineers in those companies can use that as a go-to resource for educating themselves. And that's obviously just the first step, as Harshit described. We need to, and we will be advocating on a government level as well as on an academic level that the details and the technologies of machine vision are taught more ubiquitously, actually, in the Indian academia world.
Thanks. So we're coming to our last question already. The situation in the German economy is currently tense. What is the current state of the India machine vision market? Ron, you mentioned a double-digit growth.
Yes, that's right. I mean, we are, as you might know, we are monitoring on a monthly basis the sentiment scores and the manufacturing output of the key target markets of machine vision. And yeah, as you name it, Germany is at the bottom of the list since quite a while now, with disastrous sentiments. Don't want to get too political now, I guess, but there is certainly some good reasons that are not to be found within the industry, but more in the circumstances. But quite the opposite is the case in India. So the sentiment score in India is on a very significant growth attitude, so to say, since 24 months. The manufacturing output is growing in India around 5%. Almost every month. We had a little bit of a dip here around August last year, but that was the only exception. In all other months that we were monitoring, the Indian production output was really, really significantly growing. And yeah, that's as I said before, the most, let's say, attractive part here, that when you're looking for a market with strong growth curves, with a very bright future, right? Let alone the domestic market, but also the export that is going to happen from India as a manufacturing location. This is so to say, I always compare this with China, like 10 to 15 years ago. The situation is in many ways quite similar. And now is the time for the European and Western players, or also, let's say, Japanese players, and then all these key machine vision and companies to make their way into India, to ensure that they are getting market share and grow their market shares, and educate the manufacturers as well as the system integrators what is feasible with current technologies. And then it's really a wonderful, I wouldn't say a blue ocean, but really a very nice area to grow business and make that a success story sustainably.
Now, that's definitely being felt at the ground level also, where any manufacturer we go to, or people are open about listening to the solutions that are available. They get excited to talk about, because the manufacturing is growing for sure, and the need of the field that I mentioned earlier of adopting these technologies is high. So I definitely believe it's a market where the demand will continue to grow significantly, as we see that the manufacturing is growing, very, very similar to what Ron said. China was in similar position 10, 15 years ago. So the scene, the economy otherwise is also doing slightly better, but the manufacturing index is soaring very high, and it definitely gives a lot of opportunity for machine vision people to step in.
So Harshit, Ron, thank you very much for giving us so wonderful insights into the machine vision market of India. Thank you for being guests at our podcast, and I hope I see you latest on the next Vision Fair. But Ron, I'm quite sure we'll see much earlier.
Most definitely. Yeah. Thank you, Peter.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much, Peter, for having us. It was great. Bye-bye.
Bye. If you would like to find out more about InVision, please register for our InVision newsletter at invision-news.de/news, become a follower of our LinkedIn channel, InVision News, or find out about our webinars at invision-news.com/Tech Talks. I look forward to welcoming you to our next episode of our InVision podcast, 5 Questions 2.